Hey there, Eric with you. Thank you for joining me. I just wanted to speak to you today about a concept, and I wrote it in quotations up here. You cannot out exercise a poor diet. And this stems last week I was at the soccer fields. My son had a soccer game, and before his game, we were waiting to get on the field. There was a girls' game. This was probably high school, 15, 16 year olds. And I was standing to the side, and these two mothers were talking about their daughters who were playing in the soccer game. And both of the girls, unfortunately, were overweight. And the mothers were discussing it. And I heard them saying that, they have soccer every day. They're out exercising 2 hours every day. They have 2 hour practices Monday through Friday, and then usually Saturday they have another game. So they're getting all this exercise, yet they still seem to be gaining weight. They can't lose the weight. And the other mother agreed with the exercise, and they both also spoke that they're not eating the best. They're not eating high quality foods, and their diet can be improved. But still, they felt that with the amount of exercise they were getting, that they should be able to burn off the poor food choices. And that's what I wanted to speak to you about again. And the crux of this is you cannot out exercise a poor diet. So I think a lot of times we get into that mindset, and it is a misnomer. You can exercise, and a lot of people do try to do this for hours upon hours a day. But if you are eating a poor diet, processed foods, you will not be able to sustain that eventually. Some people can for maybe small amounts of time. Kids, we're talking kids here, so kids have a lot of energy, and they maybe be able to stave off the added weight if they're eating poorly for a limited amount of time, but eventually it is going to catch up. And I just wrote out some numbers here that may make it more evident so you can see this. For instance, if a child had one cupcake, this should be a chocolate cupcake. So one chocolate cupcake is 240 calories. So if we're just talking calories here, calories in, calories out, trying to burn off the calories you're eating. If you ate one chocolate cupcake, if a child ate one chocolate cupcake, 240 calories, in order to burn that off, that child would have to play 27 minutes of beach volleyball. So one cupcake would equal 27 minutes of beach volleyball to burn that off. So that's a lot. That's a lot of volleyball. We have here next 2 pancakes with some syrup, some maple syrup poured on top. That's roughly 402 calories. So if your child ate that for breakfast, he or she would have to swim for 40 minutes to burn off those 2 pancakes and syrup. So they had a cupcake for lunch, 2 pancakes and syrup for breakfast. That's a lot of activity to squeeze in there. And then we even have a bag of chips, 308 calories. So if your child ate that, that would require 30 minutes of bike riding for those 308 calories of chips to be burned off. Your child would have to ride his or her bike for 30 minutes. So I think you can see that if you just want to play a numbers game here, thinking that again he can have that pizza today. He has a baseball game or a soccer game tomorrow. He'll burn it right off. Well, eventually it is going to catch up to them. There's just not enough time in the day in order to do that, let alone to have that type of energy level to be able to accomplish this. So that will never work. It will inevitably lead to their downfall in terms of gaining weight. And also, this is just one very, I think it's a smaller aspect of it when you consider if children are eating junk food. I put junk food, but that can be processed foods. foods that come in packages or bags or cans that have a lot of additives, colors, sugars, chemicals. Those foods are going to be processed entirely differently, and it's going to have an entirely different effect on how their body reacts to it in terms of hormones released. If children are eating a lot of processed foods, it's going to cause a big spike in glucose. That food will be broken down quickly, and it will cause a spike of sugar in their circulation, a high increase of sugar, and their bodies will respond by secreting insulin, which is a hormone secreted from the pancreas, and it's a storing hormone. It stores the glucose, and a lot of it is stored as fat storage. So again, if they're eating a poor diet, a lot of junk, a lot of processed foods, you're going to get this type of reaction, this type of chronic condition going on where there's high sugar, there's high insulin, a lot of fat storage. And when there is insulin, when there's consistently insulin in the system, which is again is a fat storing, it is going to be very, very difficult to lose weight when you have a hormone that is consistently there, that is storing fat. It's going to be very difficult to lose weight for any child, even if you have a Superman child who is capable of burning a lot of energy. It is not going to work out. It's not going to work out calorically, and more importantly, it's not going to work out in terms of the hormones, their metabolism, what's going on the inside. So the bottom line here, again, is you cannot out-exercise a poor diet. If you could please pass this on. Again, I think this is common. A lot of people still feel that they're because they're children, they can consume poor foods and get away with it, but that is not the case. Long term, also, junk food, processed foods are doing internal damage to their organs. It could be irreparable too as they get older. It can lead to many chronic conditions, diabetes being a big one that is becoming more and more prevalent in children today. So please take note of this. If you can pass it on, I'm trying to really get as much of this information out to as many parents as possible. So if you could pass this on, I'd really appreciate it. If you can like the video, that will of course get it to more and more people. And if you like the content, if you like the video, you can subscribe. I'd love to have you aboard. All right, I will speak to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.